at a Jesus Peace show or something like that. See a video from there. I wouldn't want to be in that pit. I would not dare be in that pit.
I'm not a fan of moshing in general, so.
Okay. But I would want to experience it from the stage.
Right, no, I'd like to
see
see it. Yeah, that shit's
exactly.
Cool, but yeah, I'm not getting there. I'm good. Welcome to the 184th episode of the Kaas of EYES creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is the show and review bands and public figures from the mathcore adjacent community. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, do all the social things. Every little bit helps. And feel free to join us every Sunday and Wednesday for the live cast so you can interact with the guests in real time through the chat. You can also subscribe to this Twitch channel for just $5 to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube, as well as get some exclusive emotes. You can also do that for free by attaching Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. Been away for 2 months now. Actually toured the shit out of the South with the Sound That Ends creation. Feels good to be back. And if you're looking for any like merch or whatever, I have tour leftovers up at soundthatenscreation.bandcamp.com. So check that out. With that out of the way, let me introduce my guest today, who dropped their new album, Congratulations, back on Friday through Indisciplinarian Records. Welcome in, Victor Kaas of EYES. How's it going?
What is up? How's it going, man? I am personally a near broken man. It's been a tough and very long January for me, and then just topped it off on Friday with the album release and did a release show, sold out in a 400 cap venue. Fucking nuts, and my body is just completely broken. And to top it off, I was working till midnight yesterday. So
okay, so broken as in like you're tired, not broken as in like your spirit's broken.
No. My entire being is just almost ashes.
Okay. Well, I had you on about 2 years now. To talk about Underperformer, the album before this. But just so everybody else is on the same page, what exactly do you do in EYES?
So I sing in EYES. We're a chaotic hardcore band with a bit of noise rock kind of sound. We're from Copenhagen, and we just released our second record a couple of days ago, and it's been great. Like, we've been holding on to this record for almost a year now. We recorded it in March last year.
Okay.
And vinyl pressing times have been off the charts like lately. And I don't think if it hit you in the US, but like I know people who've been like put their album in press in February of last year, and who just recently got them. And so I think we're kind of lucky that we I think we sent it to press in May. Received them this week, I think.
Nice. No, yeah. It's been really bad for us too. I've had to wait on vinyl for I think it was 10 months last time I did a real pressing or whatever. Yeah. I feel like all of the plants are kind of in the same area in Europe or whatever, for the whole world basically. So
yeah, okay.
Everybody's having issues or whatever. I will say you were stuttering just a little bit with your connection or whatever while we were talking. But it seems like it's okay now. I just wanted to give you a heads up just in case
yeah, for sure.
You cut
just
out.
to make me repeat stuff. It's I just moved into a new apartment. That's also why I'm rocking the Skyrim loading screen background.
Oh yeah.
To cover up the mess that is at my whole apartment at the moment. It's and I just set up my internet connection today, and I was playing Apex Legends with some friends just before, and it was lagging like shit, and we were getting our asses handed to us. So it might be kind of bad, but just make me repeat shit.
No, it's all good. It hasn't been a huge issue. I just wanted to shout out some of the people in chat. Pan1 Shoto for coming in. The Worst Unknown. Guy Couldn't Tell You. Guy Couldn't Tell You also says that your album is album of the year contender for sure. I feel like that too. Is definitely the one we're going to be comparing other albums to. I feel like moving forward.
Fuck yeah. That means a lot.
Dude, hell yeah. No, seriously, it's a big deal. I'm going to be glazing you up a lot during this, but before we get into it, just wanted to cover? Like, what have y'all been up to basically for like the past 2 years, aside from like doing the album and things like that? I've seen y'all been doing like some festivals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how's EYES been doing for the past couple of years?
So yeah, pandemic, you know, uh, the album released like right smack in the middle of the pandemic and lockdowns, and we had pretty substantial lockdowns in Denmark, and venues were closed for a really long time. But then we started being able to play some shows around, and we did like a small, like you can call it a tour. Most Danish bands call it a tour, where you like do weekenders around
Okay.
this the country. So we did a tour, and then you know we just been writing this record because there was a kind of a missed opportunity because of the pandemic that we couldn't go abroad. So we're just like, okay, let's focus on our own and just like adjacent countries through streaming and through like selling records online and stuff like that. And then we're gonna do like everything we wanted to do with Underperformer for this record.
Mm.
So like we are in the process of booking shows abroad in Europe at the moment, and we're gonna be announcing some more shows in a couple of weeks, I guess. And yeah, we're also going to announce some festivals as well. We already announced Bloodstock in the UK. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, I don't know. Like we played Copenhagen here in Denmark,
which is like that was a crazy lineup.
But they like last year was also really good. They've been slammed for being like more of a rock festival than like a metal hardcore festival in like many years, but like this year the lineup was pretty good, and it was just a fucking great time and a crazy ass day as well. I graduated from my bachelor's the same day.
Oh shit!
So I like went out to get my grade, and then I was like, okay, thank you. It was really good, so I was happy, and I went straight to the festival.
What'd you get your bachelor's in?
In music performance.
So, okay. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like so, it's for specifically playing music, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like a specific instrument, or just in general. How does that work?
So yeah, the school I went to was like I could say it's a liberal arts school, like and so I did apply for the school on guitar, but I didn't really do that much on guitar there. I wrote music on guitar, but and then there was lockdowns, and EYES kind of had its own thing going in, like we write in the rehearsal space. So I felt like I couldn't really use that much for schoolwork. And the rehearsal space for my other band were closed down because of the lockdown. And so I started making electronic music there, and just making like beats and a lot of breakcore as well. And just screaming on top of that. And I think it confused the fuck out of my co-students, and it was great.
So you made some cyber grind.
Yeah, you could say so.
That's sick. Are we ever gonna see that? You gonna release that shit?
I did release one song on Keys. They did like a remix album.
Oh, you did one of the songs on that? Fucking sick. I hadn't actually listened to the whole thing yet.
It's my name, my artist name for that is Pani.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah, it's but it's just something I discovered during luck. I couldn't practice with my bands, and I'd been doing Ableton for a while, but then started working with samples and all that, and it's just so much fun, and it feels more like non-committal to to work on electronic music for me, especially with samples, because it's just like taking existing things and altering that and just like destroying music to make something new.
Right, it's not as much work. Like you don't have to make something from scratch or whatever. It's more fun and like relaxing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Luke Kelly's in the chat, says congratulations on graduating in your bachelor.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see here. So, let's talk the new album here. I feel like Underperformer was a hardcore record with a bit of the noise rock influence. And I feel like Congratulations is equal parts hardcore and noise rock. I feel like you guys are kind of on the cutting edge of where things might be heading in hardcore. And like, I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
It feels like you took the best moments of Underperformer, built on it in Congratulations. Like the song on Underperformer specifically called Underperformer, the title song or whatever, that one in Surf, and there's another one that's not coming up to mind right now, but some of those have like you could specifically point to those and be like, oh, they just like, you know, expanded on what they were doing in those songs. And I think it's fantastic. It's more groovier and rock oriented, I guess, than like a regular hardcore album is. It's, I would say, the record that's not meant to be mosh to, more dance to, if that makes sense. Is that kind of where y'all were heading, or am I getting things completely wrong here?
You're not totally off. We did really focus on being, you know, more melodic and more hooky in both like songwriting and as well as in lyrics. And we just been like, we noticed, especially with those songs like you mentioned, it just like the crowd reaction, because we did actually get a bit of live experience with the last record. It was just like the audience reception to those songs. It just felt fantastic. You know, there was just a really, you know, not that mean, evil-eyed, elbows up kind of vibe in the pit. It was just like big smiles and people jumping around. Yeah, exactly. And I think we just really focused down on that path, and also just like people screaming the hooky lines back to us, and yeah, so it was just like head first into that. And like I intentionally like I try to I'm not saying that like my lyrics on Underperformer were like super highbrow or anything like that, but I tried to make the lyrics on Congratulations like rhyme on 2 and 4 almost all the time, and use, you know, and
I'm not sure what you mean, rhyme on 2 and 4.
You know, just like, is that a Danish expression? It's just maybe. Like, it's, you know, just like a one line, then second line, and then another line, and then the fourth line, and then 2 and 4 rhymes together.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, that makes perfect sense. Okay, I've never heard like the terminology like that. But okay, yeah, 100%.
But yeah, just like super simple, like dogmas like that.
Right. No, I think that's great. I just focus more on like a couple of like super hooky riffs, more easier to understand lyrics, I guess, and yeah, go to town. No, that's I feel like that's a good way to I don't know, bring in more people or whatever.
Yeah, and also just like song structures as well, because on Underperformer there was just like a few songs that actually had a chorus, and we just wanted more choruses, and it doesn't have to be like extremely pop oriented or anything. Like you can get a more, I don't know, understandable song structure into your music and still make it sound heavy and disgusting. And so it's just been a big focus for us. And like we started writing the record like just after Underperformer was released. I think we wrote the first song the same month it came out. So it's been in the works for a really, really long time.
No, I love your I love how you are putting that, or how y'all are writing or whatever, where you're focusing more on like choruses and stuff like that, and more song structure. I feel like a lot of bands, especially in this genre, like to see how many riffs they can just throw into a song,
Yeah, yeah.
instead of like trying to make like a coherent sound. So yeah, I what you did comes across really well on the record. Like
Mm.
I get totally where you're coming from with it. Um, let me see. Oh yeah, so since I was introduced to y'all on Underperformer, I felt like you guys were on like the cutting edge, like I was saying before, with incorporating more like noise rock elements. Like it's more happy than like super heavy. I feel like there's been so many bands that try to push how heavy it goes, but you guys are making it
Mhm.
more happy and groovy and stuff. I kind of see that being like where a lot of bands are going to start going. Do you feel the same way, or how do you see the hardcore scene changing in the next like year or two?
Oh man, that's a big, almost philosophical question. I feel like bands like Turnstile have become so incredibly huge in like since they released Glow On, and I think they're also pushing that a bit more of an uplifting vibe.
Mm.
Um, I feel we're gonna see a lot more you know, yeah, turnstile rip-off bands in the next coming years. But I feel like it's also at like at a turning point. Like the road is kind of splitting out because there's people that want to go like just so heavy that like the heaviest you can get. You're seeing that kind of direction,
Hmm.
and then there's the other one where you get like the noise rock elements and chat pile as well, being like, yeah, the last record is fucking amazing. God's Country is my top album from last year.
Oh yeah.
um and I think like the noise rock elements are gonna be seen and heard a lot more in some circles, but I feel like it's more in the hipster road burn kind of people that want to go that direction. And then you see the hardcore kids, the straight up hardcore kids. They just want to have it heavier and more mush friendly.
So how do you bring the hardcore kids over to the noise rock influence? What was y'all's like approach to that?
I don't think we've been thinking about that. It's like
Hmm.
the hardcore scene in Denmark is just so small. So
So
I
any
think,
hardcore band is like good for them. I gotcha. Okay.
yeah, I feel like it's that's it what we kind of discovered with Underperformer, that it kind of appealed to a like a metal crowd as well.
Hmm.
And that was really surprising to us, but it was also really fun because you know it's people who come in and they discover us, and then we kind of become a gateway drug into hardcore. And I think that's just extremely cool. You get there's a lot of like older metalheads in the like in Denmark, in around the Copenhagen Festival and all that. Um, and I feel like we have a ton of fans who are like pretty old in Denmark, and that's cool. We also have young fans who are just like discovered hardcore and heavy music recently. But it's just fucking awesome getting like this long haired 50-year-old guy with an obituary shirt coming up and buying a weird ass hardcore record and being like I never heard anything like this before. And yeah, I'm just happy that the record can appeal to so many, our music can appeal to so many people.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Uh, so go over some of the lyrics. You got this cool segment on congratulations that I really liked. Uh, a sign of someone thinking like you, a person who peaked in high school, useful idiots looking for a purpose, united in being your family's burden, gullible morons looking for a way, found the truth, but your truth is fake. I love that a lot. So
Cheers. Thanks a lot, man. It's one of the lines I'm the most proud of.
that's fucking sick. The whole song, what really like made me think that it's about what I think it's about is because of your video. You do this little crossword puzzle, or it's not you, but the person's doing a crossword puzzle in there, and one of the words that they circle is QAnon. So is congratulations just kind of like digging on the QAnon crowd?
Yeah, pretty much.
When I saw that, like, I didn't even think QAnon was that big of a deal over in Denmark. I guess it is.
So it's more like the conspiracy theory crowd in general.
Right.
It's all from an experience, like also during lockdowns, seeing conspiracy theories go mainstream. So I had like this morbid curiosity or morbid interest in conspiracy theories for like so many years.
Oh yeah.
Like I was a kid and I saw that what is that called? It was like a documentary that was super viral.
The Zeitgeist?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
there you go. That was my introduction too, yeah.
Yeah, but it was like I saw that and I think I was like 13, 14 years old. And I was just, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, like, oh, there's elites that want to kill everyone. And like, and then I just started digging into that. And, I told my parents about it and they were like, okay, you shouldn't believe everything you see on the internet. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. Maybe this is not real just because it's in a movie. And then I just started being fascinated by it and just like reading up on conspiracy theories for the fun of it and being a bystander in like the conspiracy theory world. And then lockdowns came and I would see people I grew up with, I went to school with, writing about how Bill Gates is trying to poison the world's population and trying to depopulate the earth, and it's funny because that came up again during the pandemic, and it's an old conspiracy theory, because like he funded some AIDS research in Africa,
right?
And so yeah, it's just like this old conspiracy theory that got a new level and got introduced to so many more people than before. And and I would start hearing about conspiracy theories on like mainstream news and in newspapers, and it was just wild to me that this thing that I was reading about for fun, and I knew that's like a small group of people actually believed, becoming this huge mainstream thing. And then following that, it also became like as the same as the QAnon crowd, this belief that, if you kind of knew the truth, like the truth that they perceive is the real truth.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe that, you are a lesser person. You're not as intelligent. You're just a dumb sheep following what you're being told. And in my opinion, like, you can believe whatever you want. If you believe that Bill Gates is poisoning the world, all good with me. But if you have to like look down upon everyone else for it, then you're just being a fucking dickhead. Because like if let's say if Bill Gates was actually poisoning the world, then you shouldn't be taking a hostile stance against people who don't believe it. I feel like you should be taking like an empathetic stance. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
like instead of bashing the people who don't believe the same thing as you, like maybe have a bit of understanding and try to hear what they say, see it from their perspective. I think it goes both ways. Like people who believe in conspiracy theories, like I will hear what you're saying, but I don't have to believe the same thing. We don't have to agree.
You are much more charitable about it than I am. Because here in America, like that shit's like popping off, and it's wild. These people are starting to like get into positions of power and shit. And
Yeah.
now they're like passing laws based around like these ideas of conspiracy theories and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd call them the dickheads and
Yeah, for sure. And I think it, but I also think it comes from, and it's I know this is an outsider perspective, and it might not be valid at all, but I also think it comes from like heavy polarization, because the lines have just been drawn up so for such a long time, and I feel like then like both sides might have been felt attacked in a long time. And but again, this is an outsider perspective. I don't see the same world as you do every day. I live in a completely, not in a completely different society, but I live in a different society.
Right.
And it shouldn't, like, that doesn't mean like you should be accepting of everything. Like, as I said, like, you can believe whatever you believe, and it's okay with me. But if it's not a harmful ideology, let's say you're a Nazi, you know, fuck that. Of course, fuck that shit. But if it's like, you know, if you think that Bill Gates is poisoning your mom, then I don't know. But it hasn't come to a point where people in power believe this in my country.
Right.
So I don't know how it feels. I just see like the scorn that people put on the opposing side, and I see it. I mostly see it from the people who believe in conspiracy theories. You know, they're just being aggressive and yeah.
Right. It's the way I see it, it's born from like people feeling helpless like in their life,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
But that's also my point.
They feel like everything's like against them, like the government wants them to fail or whatever, which they kind of do, because we're in a capitalist system. There needs to be a permanent underclass to help the capitalists, survive and get their wealth. And but so they realize that shit's like against them, and they don't get introduced to the left, right? They don't get introduced to like, we should all be working together to fight against the rich and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And instead they get introduced to like this right wing ideology that's like, oh, it's because of these specific people are trying to like kill you or depopulate the earth, or it's immigrants coming in and all this shit and dividing people up against each other. And that's where you get all these like weird ass conspiracy theories, and it's like they just fell down the wrong hole. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And I should say, like, it's division. It's, instead of bringing people together, it's just like we want to separate them as much as possible.
Right.
But it's also a point I make on the record. It's that I try to have an empathetic view of people who, in a sense, believe the wrong things. They probably like made a wrong choice in their lives, and I think you should again, you don't have to agree on everything, but you can, if we are just more understanding of each other, I think it would be a better world. And I know that's some John Lennon shit, but no, that's how
you're
I
right.
feel.
For most people or whatever. There's some people that have gone just like way too fucking far, but yeah,
sure,
like definitely,
sure.
if you can get to them before they fall down the hole, then hell yeah.
Exactly. But that's, you also see that in Denmark. It's just way more fringe. There's this politician, his name is Rasmus Paludan. you might have heard about him in like world news recently because he was basically cast out of Danish politics for being like a complete bigot. And
Oh, is he
he,
the guy that like burned the Quran or some shit?
yeah, exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
that's fucking
So
crazy. I thought that was
yeah,
Sweden for some reason, but yeah.
but
Okay, that's
it
fucking
wasn't
crazy.
Sweden. So he was like outed from Danish politics, and then but he's half Swedish,
Okay.
so he transitioned to doing Swedish politics, and then he's been staging Quran burnings in Denmark for years and years, but
That's
it
crazy.
just haven't gotten the same attention. But it's a much more, I feel like, because there's a bigger Muslim population in Sweden than in Denmark. It's been getting more of a reaction there, and yeah, and it's just fucking terrible. He just like it's the kind of people who just needs to be uh, ignored, like silenced through
To be in jail,
being
probably.
ignored.
Honestly, like.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. He's also inciting hate
Yeah.
in multiple sides, and that's just fucked up. Yeah,
That's crazy, dude. Shit's nuts, man. It's like over there, like didn't Italy just elect a fascist too, and Sweden's like kind of going down that hole too. Fucking crazy stuff, dude.
it's a bit scary these days, but I feel like at least well, there's a bit of a I don't know a general right swing in Danish politics as well, but it's being kept to a minimum. I think they're kind of trying to do this like they just we got a new government recently, and it's like this centrist government,
Mm.
and that's for better and for worse. A lot of our welfare ideas, that's like the pillar of Danish society, free healthcare and free schools, and like all that is getting degraded a bit, but it's also to keep like more extreme ideas on the right in bay.
Mm.
So as I said, for better and for worse. So, and it's a good time to like try and combat like a complete swing to the right of the
Right.
political spectrum.
Yeah. That's crazy. It'll be interesting to see what happens next couple of years. So back to the record though.
Yeah, that's a tangent.
Yeah, so this was recorded and mixed by Jacob Breadhall of Dead Rat Studio, who's the guy that mastered Underperformer. And then you got this mastered by Brad Boatwright because everybody gets their shit mastered by Brad Boatwright.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why the change up in how this was done from the last record?
So we wanted to up the ante, and we're good friends with Jacob. He has a studio in Aarhus, the second, or I think second biggest city in Denmark. Still a tiny ass city compared to your standards, but yeah. So it was just a matter of like we wanted to have a like a continued you know we were there for 2 weeks, so like we just went over there and was in the studio all day 2 weeks straight, instead of doing it in Copenhagen where we had to go home to our apartments and maybe just doing it in weekends. We just wanted to like focus on it. And then he's just a fucking great producer, and his way of mixing records is really analog in nature and like really old school.
Okay.
He uses Pro Tools like as more of a necessity because of the times we're in. He's using this like ancient version of Pro Tools on this ancient Mac computer that's in his studio, hooked up
Really?
to
Well, it sounds like it's like current. Like it doesn't sound like it's an old like style recording.
no, but he's just a really good producer. It's like it's just hooked up to like a huge analog board and great preamps and great mics, and it was just fucking great to just like, we just took our time with everything, like getting the sounds right for the drums and for the amps, and dial, like we used the whole day for just tones, and it was just like a, we just concentrated and just focused on making it sound the best we could. And the way he mixes is also like, it's extremely rapid. Like when I think we got the first mix a couple of days after we left, and he just kept on shooting mixes to us. Like the first day, I think we got like 3 iterations, and it was just like picking one and then going that direction, and then 3 more iterations and picking that. And so it was like a tree building out with branches. And yeah, it was just an awesome process. And I would recommend anyone to work with Jacob, because he's a great guy and even greater producer.
And y'all spent 2 weeks doing it?
Yeah.
Like y'all just stayed out, like I guess, like out of the facility or whatever for 2 weeks? That's crazy.
We rented a summer house. That's just like a cabin, sick. And stayed there and got up early every morning and ate breakfast in the studio and hung out and had some good coffee. And yeah,
that's tight. Holy shit. That's hardcore money for you right there. Like getting that eyes money, huh? Able to spend 2 weeks at the studio. That's fucking sick.
That's welfare system money, because there's some government grant you can apply for, and but it was also like we did some festivals and all that, so we did have some money in the bank. And because of the whole way that cultural funds are distributed in Denmark, like you get paid pretty well for shows. And we just piled up all our savings in the band. Like we haven't taken out anything ourselves, and then we just spend it all on the record.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully you'll be able to start taking money out in a little bit. Like, I feel like you guys are starting to blow up, so
I hope so. That's the dream, of course.
So the videos for this album are fucking insane.
Thank you.
I wanted to show both, but I feel like we only have time for one, so I'm gonna show Congratulations, because I feel like that's the best one. So it's playing now. What's the idea behind this video?
It's literally just bringing the cover art to life. And we had like a general idea for the cover art, and we just sent it over to the guy who made the artwork, Jon Gottlieb. He's the singer in Hierarchy.
What was the pitch that you sent him?
So we were just, because of the name Congratulations, we were just like a really sad birthday party. And we did talk about having like cardboard cutouts of us in the cover as well, like sitting at the table. It's like to hammer the point home that he was alone even more. And then we felt it was kind of fun to have ourselves in the cover art, but then there was time constraints, and then there was still some, I think there was pandemic shit, like late pandemic stuff that prevented it. But then he just gave us something. Like, I think Jon really understands our aesthetic and our ideas, and so it's just like a general pitch, and then he sent us something, and we're like, okay, that's cool, great, let's go with that.
That's sick.
And also for the video, it's like he sent one pass to us. We're like, okay, maybe make the cuts a bit faster, and then he said the second pass, and we're like, okay, great, that's perfect. And for the second video, it was also just, we didn't even have any ideas for it. It was just he was just spitballing of the themes of the song, and I think he delivered it 6 hours before the deadline we had from our label.
Jesus.
And we're like, yeah, it was super close, and we're like, oh fuck, what if it's not good? And then it was perfect. I prefer the video to Generation L. I just
prefer Congratulations or Generation L?
Generation L.
Oh, okay.
I would say.
I'm the other way around. Congratulations is so good. It's so artsy. Just like every aspect of it. It's like, I don't know. From the way that his like dancing is framed too, with showing like his fingers going through the loops on the belt or whatever, and like just the way he even like is just staring off into space at the end with a piece of cake just like falling off his face. So fucking good. The whole time I was like, oh, this is like this reminds me of like the Hideki videos, and you're telling me that it is the guy from Hideki. So that's fucking sick. It's so good.
Yeah, but he's also like, he is, I would say, an auteur. He really knows his shit, and I love that he's like he's working in only like small budgets and just making incredible stuff from that. He also made a video for LLNN as well, which is complete LLNN.
Oh, that's the song from Underperformer, right?
No, it's a band.
Oh, okay.
But it's also just like completely bonkers, and it's just graphics that he made and made it look like, I don't know, some alien movie or a space odyssey and then just video of his son screaming like installation that he's amazing.
Is it Great Obsidian?
I have to see. Yeah, it's Obsidian. Yeah.
Let me show just a little segment of it. Nah, he's a really talented person. Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, so he also did the album cover. Obviously, I'm assuming that was just taken during the music video or whatever, because it's the same like setup. We got the cover up on screen now. Yeah, we already talked about it pretty much, but it's so fucking good. I love VL's album covers, like the art that he does for him. The Underperformer one where his head's just like sticking through the ceiling. So fucking good. Excellent shit.
Yeah, but as I said, like he's a bit like the extra member in the band by this point, like, because he's just like the master of our aesthetics. Like we can come up with ideas, and then we can transform those ideas also afterwards. Like we reuse a lot of stuff that he's made for us to do merch and all that. Like I'm sitting with I don't know if you can see that. We had like made it's a raspberry soda that we had for the release party on. And you know, because it's a birthday party, so you need your red soda pops. And
did y'all have a cake? Y'all had to have had a cake, right?
We did have a cake, yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's so good. Oh my God.
Yeah, we were surprised by our label with a cake with the album art printed on.
That's so sick.
Yeah, sadly I never got the chance to taste it, because I was standing in the merch booth afterwards, and people just kept coming over, and then all of a sudden, like, the curfew hit and we had to leave, and then I think our guitarist Rasmus and his daughter just ate all of it.
So you're talking about getting like tours and stuff together. Gotta ask, U.S. tour? Are we doing this anytime soon? What's going on?
We really want to, like, we really, really want to. And I think with, we're also working with Nefarious Industries, who's doing the CD version and distributing it in the US. And so it's all about timing for us. The way we can be a band in Europe, and it's easy for us to do weekenders and small tours, but going to the US is a bit of a bigger commitment.
Right.
But we are gunning for it. I really hope that like sometime in the start of next year would be perfect. But it's also, I think we would be limited to doing one coast at a time.
It is a lot. It is a really big area to cover.
Exactly. And it's just like distances in the US are just like incomprehensible for me. Like I was touring in, like, that's many years ago now, but I was touring in Russia before the whole thing with Russia being international pariahs happened. And it was just completely nuts for me. Like we would play a show and get in the van like after the show, and then we would show up to the next venue 15 hours later.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, like some
it's
shit
not
like
that for the U.S., but it's still kind of a long drive. Like the way that I've been touring around, I keep the drives at about 2 hours to 4 hours.
Yeah, okay, that's really gentle, I would say. But we really want to come. I think if we are gonna come over, I think we would probably start with East Coast.
East Coast is better.
Okay, just generally.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and it's more accessible for us. You can get flight tickets to New York for really cheap, and but we also have to get artist visas, and that's expensive as fuck. It's completely insane. Like some of our friends in the band Cabal. It's a deathcore band. They were touring the US recently, and they had some trouble. I think they bought some like right before the pandemic or something like that, and they just lost so much money on it. And of course, let's hope, fingers crossed, no more pandemics. But it's a really big investment, and but I think it's like just for the experience as well. I've never been touring in the US. I've been to the US once in my life when I was 14 years old in New York and New Jersey. My cousin was working over there, and living in Hoboken, and it was great. But I haven't seen it as an adult, and I also want to experience the show culture that seems to be in the US. It's like shows seem so much more rowdy there.
Okay. I haven't really seen a European show, so I can't really comment, but it does get kind of crazy depending on where you're at. Yeah.
It feels it just feels much more restrained. Like you grow up as a hardcore kid and you watch live videos from bands. So like I've seen so many, like also like I think Mathcore Index posted that live video of the Chariot recently. And
were they like on the roof and shit? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like but it just seems so much more like crazy, and the way that people mosh, it seems much more violent. And
I have seen some fucked up shit. Yeah.
it's like we don't really get that. Like people mosh, and but like hardcore slam dancing, giving elbows and punching people in the face, and really
That
exist
shit's
here.
fucked up, but
It, but
yeah,
and
crowd killing
I
sucks ass. But yeah, the people going in there
yeah.
doing karate, like it's cool as long as they're like aware of their space. You know what I mean? But
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
crowd killing sucks.
Yeah, but I've never experienced it here. Like, and I did see people doing like karate moves in the pit like a couple of times. But if you see it at bigger shows, like some big guy or a guard or something like that will just throw them out. So it's not really that accepted. And I feel like moshing is just this really friendly thing
Okay.
where people are really like they're really taking care of each other. And if people fall over, it's like up you go, pat on the back, let's
Right.
go. Like we're back into it. But it's I don't want to be in like I don't know what band could I name drop like um something like at a Jesus Peace show or something like that.
Hmm.
See a video from there. I wouldn't want to be in that pit. I would not dare be in that pit.
I'm not a fan of moshing in general, so.
Okay, but I would want to experience it from the stage. I
Right, no,
would
I'd
want
like
to
to
see
see it.
it
Yeah, that shit's cool, but
exactly.
like, yeah, I'm not getting there. I'm good. Fuck yeah. But yeah, I was gonna say a sick package would be pupil slicer, y'all and death goals. Like fucking Christ,
Fuck yeah,
I would kill to see that shit. Y'all should
death
definitely try to
goals.
get something together.
Yeah, we have been chatting a bit with the people in death goals,
Hell
and
yeah.
so yeah, that could be sick. But let's see. I think we will try to start working on something. It's mainly a thing of scheduling, like when it's gonna be because you know I'm also in other bands,
Right.
and some of the other guys have families and kids and stuff. And as I said, it's easier for us to do weekenders and just fly out for a show or do a week here and there, than commit to 3 weeks to a month in the US.
Okay. That sounds that's what I've gotten from a lot of bands over in Europe is that they talk about like the big commitment and such. So I get it, makes sense.
Mhm.
So you've got a bunch of merch over on your Bandcamp. There's vinyls, CDs, tapes, tote bags, shirts, and a fucking baby onesie. Like what? How did you even find that? That's crazy.
Well, so our bassist Ken, he produces all the merch, like he prints everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also just really easy for us to just spitball ideas and just make it happen. The baby buddies were just some of the dudes were starting to have kids and stuff like that, and they're like, "Hey, I want some ice merch for my kid. Somebody else would probably like it." And turns out it was a really, really good investment.
No way. Is it really sold?
It sells like hotcakes, man. It's
Shut up. Really? That's
because
crazy.
everyone knows somebody who's just about to have a baby.
Okay.
It's like somebody comes to the merch booth and they want to grab a shirt or grab a vinyl and they see the baby body. It's like, oh, my cousin's having a baby, or my friend is having a baby, or I'm having a baby,
Crazy.
and
We
so
got it up
two
on
different.
screen now, by the way. Because I feel like people need to see this. What's going on? But yeah, that's crazy.
It's I would we like there's also this discussion in the Danish scene at the moment, like people should do more kind of merch because everybody's doing t-shirts. T-shirts are great. Long sleeves, fuck yeah, I rock long sleeves all day. But you can make so much silly shit,
Right.
and the possibilities are endless. Like we talked about sunglasses and
Dude, I've been
shoes.
wanting to do sunglasses too. I haven't really looked into it, but it'd be so sick to have just like the logo on the side or something.
Exactly,
That'd be fucking
exactly.
tight.
like you can just make anything. There was this whole craze where people were doing grinders
Yeah, yeah.
at a point in time. It's also pretty cool. It's like also LNN has like beer openers, and
Okay.
it's
Something that I've
yeah.
been thinking about: Crocs, custom Crocs.
Fuck yeah,
That'd be
man.
so
That
sick.
could be so fucking awesome. Or even better, just make like the ornaments. What is that called? Like the stuff you put in the Crocs.
Right, right. I don't know what it's called either, but I totally know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking tight. So we usually end it with the album of the year, but you were saying your album for the year last year was Chat Pile.
Yeah.
Is there any
Definitely.
other one that you wanted to just shout out real quick?
I have to consult my list real quick.
I should have warned you. I'm sorry.
It's I was on a podcast, a Danish one, so I do have a list. Off the top of my head. Also, as I said, I'm a broken man right now, so
I haven't really been listening to too much stuff then, I guess. Been
yeah,
too
but
busy.
it's like I've been super busy, and like I really try to listen to a lot of music like throughout the year, but it's just like have like at the end of the year I really picked it back up, and then year lists come out, and you can see like different people you follow, like okay, this record is being mentioned by this person and this person and this person, and then I would pick it out, like the ones that got mentioned the most. Oh, okay, here it is. Chat Pile. That's my definite number one. Vegan Dude.
Vegan Dude? Is that what it was?
No, it's Vegan Dude.
Oh, is it like a Danish band or something? Okay.
It's a Belgian band. It's called There's Always Blood at the End of the Road. It's a black metal record. It's
okay,
really good. The new Burton Row.
Okay.
Is also really fucking good. The Callous Cowboys, Celebrity Therapist. Fucking amazing record. I love it. And The Body and OAA, Enemy of Love, is completely mind-blowing. And then there's a new Danish band called Syl. Made a record called Alt Godt. It means everything good, all good. It's in Danish as well, but it's just really, really great. It's a debut record, and a really young band, and we don't. There's been a bit of a drought of new bands coming out of Copenhagen in recent years. And it's really starting to pick back up now, and it's fucking awesome. Like it's so good to see like the new generation is starting to come out of the woodworks now, and these guys are killing it. They're so good. We also had their singer on Congratulations.
Oh, okay.
He's doing backing vocals on the title track, and yeah. Check it out. It's a bit like post-hardcore-ish, and yeah. What else? Danish stuff. Lifesick, Misanthropy. If you like heavier hardcore, kind of a bit of beatdown vibes, they're really good. Super underrated band abroad. Also, like we're this kind of like the Danish scene is like really
insulated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Lifesick is just a really big band here in Denmark, and same goes for us, but it's like Leipzig just does it like hardcore in a really American way that you don't really see in Europe that much. The whole stage presence is like, they're all hype men at the same time, and it's just a fucking great record with lots of HM2 tones, and same producer as us, Jacob Brede. Oh, and Godmother.
Oh, Godmother's fucking sick. Love those guys.
Fucking, yeah, everything they do is my favorite.
Hell yeah. So, let's see here. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we head on out?
Off the top of my head, if you haven't listened to our record, please go listen to it. The whole reception has been amazing, and check us out on Spotify, check us out on Instagram, see our dumb posts and our silly memes, and thanks for watching.
Hell yeah. So EYES is a band that's on the cutting edge of hardcore and deserves your attention. Please check out their new album, Congratulations, which dropped last Friday through Indisciplinarian Records. You mentioned a couple of social places for them to check you out. If you have other links and stuff you wanted to shout out, feel free. If you said you were in other bands too, feel free to shout that out before we get going.
It's at EYES Band CPH.
And that's like on all the socials?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hell yeah. That's for me. Drop my channel, follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube streaming platforms, as well as get some exclusive emotes. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube folks, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, click the notification bell. Don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound That Ends Creation, at thesoundthatenscreation.bandcamp.com. Again, tour leftovers are up now in limited sizes and quantities. My next guest will be Lower Automation, who dropped a sick new record back in December. Join us next Sunday the 12th at 7 p.m. Central for the live cast. Thanks for being here, Victor. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, for sure, man. I really did.
Hell yeah. And thank you guys for watching and listening.